Hey everyone, my name is Tronster. I'm a game developer, artist, programmer, a little bit of everything. And tonight I want to talk to you about some of the secret laws that we follow. Now, whenever we sing the national anthem, we're actually breaking the law. And by we, I mean when we're here inside of Baltimore city limits. Because believe it or not, there's actually a law in the books that says if you add any embellishment to the melody, well, you're breaking Baltimore City code, and we tend to hold that O just a little bit longer than some other people. Now, this is a law that not a lot of people know about, and I've even talked to a politician who tried to get rid of it and couldn't for political reasons. But it is a law on the books, and this is a man-made law. And even that we know about this law, I'm sure we'll still do it. I want to talk to you tonight about 5 laws, which aren't man-made laws, which would be hard, if not impossible, to break once we know about them. The first of which was one I learned about in elementary school, where we took a washer and a piece of string, and we're learning about the ideomotor effect. And the idea was to think about it moving back and forth without moving our hands, and it would actually do this. And we all thought, oh my goodness, we have the force. So as kids, we totally missed the whole lesson plan. We didn't have a great teacher like Brad. Instead, we're there, we're holding our hands out, trying to get pencils to fly into our hand, and we missed a point. The whole reason the ideomotor phenomenon works is the same reason why a Ouija board pointer moves around the board. It's because you're sending these little pathways down your hand to the object, and without you knowing, you're actually moving it, but it doesn't perceive that you're actually moving anything. And it's important to know this as adults because recently in Iraq, $75 million worth of fraudulent mine detectors were sold to people that exploited the ideomotor phenomenon. They didn't do anything, they just felt like they were doing something. So the second law I want to tell you about is one where we actually know something's being done. And I'm talking about computers. Like, they will do the work for you. Trust me, I'm a computer programmer. And back in the 60s, Gordon Moore was wondering, like, how complex are these computers becoming? And he came up with Moore's Law. Now, he thought this was only going to last 10 or 20 years. And Moore's Law is simply that transistors, little switches that make up the computer brains, that every 2 years, they will double in size on these computer chips. But that still holds true today, which is very odd. He thought it would not continue, but we are many, many decades out. A lot of people say Moore's Law will end, but it hasn't. Computers have gotten so complex that by 2025, a computer chip will be as complex as a human brain. Not to freak you out, but by 2050, it's going to be as complex as all of our brains together. So I know some people are worried about Skynet and Terminators and the end of humanity. So I added a kitten that is from a missing slide. So we're just going to move on to Conway's Law, something happier. And Conway was looking at how we work in our day-to-day life and about how different organizations end up creating these products. And he found out that the products that we use are actually indicative of what's behind those organizations themselves. So if you get a smartphone that's not so smart, maybe the people in that organization weren't communicating so smartly. And so communication being key, I want to go and talk to you about the 4th law, which is about how we communicate with our coworkers. Whether you're a teacher or an engineer, does distance matter? Well, Thomas J. Allen found out that it did. And he found out that if we are more than 165 feet from one of our coworkers, we're not going to have any meaningful conversations with them throughout the week. Very likely not to have any. But you say, oh, Tronster, you have Twitter, I've got text messages. But they've been doing studies recently and found out even with the latest in technical advances that we still choose to talk to people over these other mediums for the people that we want to talk to in person. We don't make 2 separate groups in our minds. We keep one distinct group. But there's only so many of these people we can talk to throughout the week, which comes to my last secret law, Dunbar's number. How many people we can talk to in the week. Now, we may have 5,000 friends on Facebook, but we can only have meaningful conversations with about 150 of them throughout the week. So if you start dating a new significant other and you start hanging out with their friends, you might be getting rid of some of your own friends to do so you can maintain that cognitive balance. This is only a very high level. You should dig more into these. I hope you've enjoyed it. One bonus one I'll give you is the dynamics of audience applause. And it has been found that the amount of applause does not come so much from the presenter on the stage, thank goodness. It's more or less the matter of the type of personalities of the people in the seats. I hope you're the type of people who make a lot of noise. Thank you.